Hello and welcome to Seesar Gear, and today we're talking about this pretty pink purpley box thing, and this is the Rucci Electronics Bent Time Drive. And I describe it, they have a similar description, so I'm not lying, hopefully, but my description is it's a pitch shifting delay overdrive feedback exciter, because it does just that. I think they call it something extremely similar, and it is a pedal, but it's also a sound source. You can use it with self oscillation and affect its own self oscillation. You also have an input, of course, because it is a pedal, and you can run whatever you want through it, synthesizers or other noise making devices, etc. And somebody on Instagram had posted on one of my reviews that they thought that the gear that I was talking about was similar to this. And it reminded me that I have looked at this device a couple of times going, that does look pretty good. I wonder what I can do with that. And I've only found a couple of demos that all are pretty good. So it's another thing I was a little bit like, well, do I want to put this on the channel? But only because the reviews are good. They do tell you things that a noise musician or experimental musician would be interested in knowing about a piece of gear. So I may be repeating a lot of stuff today from other sources, but let's go through my version just in case there's somebody who wants to hear what my babbling mouth has to say. And I will start off as usual with the positive, because most of the things I'm ever going to review are going to be positive reviews. I don't really plan on down-mouthing anybody. If I don't like something, well, I'll probably just put it aside and whatnot. But I've only had this for a brief period of time, I guess. I got it recently, and it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. There was no harsh learning curve. I looked up the controls online. They have an online manual. Just a picture. It's literally just a picture of the controls, and I, dove straight in and have had a blast with it. So it's really good. They tend to liken it to something that's been circuit bent. They say it's been made in the spirit of circuit bending, and I can see that, and I approve of that, of course, because circuit bending is awesome. And so this is what I found about it. Let's do the basics. Let's do. I know it's only like a few minutes into my video. Why am I not talking for 20 more minutes? Let's talk about the controls. You have your on-off switch indicated by the light. You have your engaged or not. So this is a bypass, but you still get the output. The input goes through with a true bypass. And then you have your pedal volume, but it's also, I think it's also a mix when it's engaged, but I haven't tested that. And then you have the second knob over here to the one in the middle on the top is a filter, and it's a high pass filter to the far anti-clockwise direction, and it is a low pass filter turned all the way to the regular clockwise direction. I will say it does have a full sweep, but it certainly engages in the high end a lot more. So when it gets to 12 o'clock and beyond, it's almost the same sound. You do get some roll off on the mid range, and the band pass that's being manipulated by the potentiometer here will certainly lean, like sweep. You hear it, but it's definitely low once it gets to about 11 o'clock and beyond. You'll hear. We'll test it. I'll show you. So I've been keeping it at 9 o'clock and then manipulating it kind of on the left side, just because that seems to be the most prominent, we'll say. Then the next things down. These are mirrors of the same thing. So the top one is your overdrive, and the top one over here is your overdrive. Then you have a time control, which is also, of course, likened to the pitch control, and then you have a feedback control for amount of things overloading itself and repeating. And the difference is, of course, that this is just your gross control that gives you the parameter, and over here you have permanent switches, meaning you turn them on, they're on-off switches, and when they're in the up position they're on, when they're in the down position they're off, but when they're off you have these momentary switches. So you can see here that these two are on, but the one in the middle is off, so I'm getting time and feedback all the time, but I'm getting no overdrive mixed in with the switch down, this toggle down on the top one here in the middle. But when I press this guy, I can introduce that, it picks up, and as long as I hold it, it adds it in. It also acts really quickly, so you can use it for accents or rhythms and things like that. It's really cool. So it's a great idea. Now this is their reference to circuit bending, like sticking little extra buttons and interrupts in different places so you can do performative things. And to me, that is the beauty of the bent time drive. It has really cool sounds, but it's the fact that you can play this a little bit more like it's its own instrument, because it is, than say a guitar pedal where you're leaning over or something and trying to tweak a knob in the middle of a song. This doesn't fully lend itself to that. It much more lends itself to using the unit as a performance device. And that's not fair to guitar pedals. They just have a different function. So don't think that I'm down-mouthing the use of a guitar pedal. I have probably 100 guitar pedals. So that's not a negative, but it's a difference that should be pointed out. With this guy, the expectation is you will physically interact with it and do things to create the sounds that you want to mix in or introduce. So with that being said, I think we are already to the point of making some noises. And I'll talk through a few things, I guess, as I play, but I will do some demos without an input at the moment. The input's plugged in, but I'm not going to use it. We'll see what we can get with just the bent time drive, and then I'll add in a sound source and work together with the bent time drive with the input. All right, so first of all, let's give it some volume, and okay, I got some sounds that I hadn't gotten before, so that's pretty fun. Let's see if there. I don't know if you were able to hear the filter, the cutoff on the filter like worked at first, and then I had some setting that was mostly, I believe, the overdrive and the time manipulation, and it just wasn't giving me really anything. Like it was almost unaffected. So I'm not sure what was going on there, but it was in and out. There are things you can do with it. I was pleased with this though, because there was, like I said, there was a couple of sounds that I hadn't gotten before. So a couple of combinations where not expecting to turn something down and get it out of the mix and have more mobility, we'll say, with the other parameters. So that was an interesting turn of events. Nice little bit. There were some volume problems. That probably goes without saying for certain things that are working with feedback loops, because feedback has to be built up, and in doing so you sometimes lose volume until it gets back to a self-oscillation. But that can be solved with a compressor, or in a DAW with a recording setting. So I'm not complaining at all. This is normal stuff and fun. All right, let's toss in. I'm going to reach over here and grab the trusty old blooper eel that I've got hooked up. I think it's no. Oh, that's because I have the volume down. So the blooper eel, if you're not familiar with it, is a Captain Incredible little device that's got a couple of oscillators that are driven by these I'll call them open Vactrals. I don't know what they really are called, but it's an LED and an LDR, and you have the pulse width frequencies that are controlled by the potentiometers, and when you push the button, the lights come on and you can make some cool sounds with it. So it's really great for testing. So let's put it through the paces. We're going to add this to our bent time drive, and let's see what we get. Okay. That's a pretty good test. That's a pretty good test. I think there were parts where the blooper reel actually took over the sound of this, but that's my bad playing. I apologize. But the test is successful. The input definitely gives some things for the time drive to bite on, right, and chew on and masticate on and spit out. And it does what it says on the tin. Everything works great. It's easy to control. I think it's very it lends itself to longer sessions because you start working with the knobs very subtly, and in doing so you end up developing these sounds that build on top of each other, and you find a sound you didn't know was going to come out of it, and then you build on that, and then you slowly move to something else. So I thought it was really functional, I guess is the way to think of it, in terms of how the device invites exploration and gives you the opportunity to develop a dynamic mapping. So thumbs up, Rucci. That really, really good. I'm probably slaughtering the name, I'm realizing too. I've been calling him Rucci. I don't know if that's actually the way you pronounce the poor company's name or not, but we're going to keep calling it Rucci because that's what I think it is. And I say, if you want one of these, go get it. It wasn't very expensive at all. I think this one was, I found this one secondhand, so I didn't quite pay full price for it, but on the website, they have them for $140 US, which is great. That's a really bargain deal for something this tasty. And yeah, you can get them straight from the horse's mouth, or you can get them. I believe Perfect Circuit had them, and Reverb had them, and I think Noise Bug carries them in New York. And yeah, there's lots of folks that have them, so they're available. And they make other things too. I think they make the Maximal drone, if I'm not mistaken, so which is something else I want to get. And solid, good, well built. Looks like it'll be great for the road. I just need to get this tasty bad boy into a pedal case and plug it up. Oh, that's the other thing I could tell you. It does have a battery inside, and it also has a 9-volt center negative power supply for the outside if you want to plug it into your your pedal board. Okay, I'll be quiet now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this gave you some information on whether or not you are interested in grabbing one of these tasty devices. And you can always look at more either on SeesarMusic.com/gear or through my Instagram pages. I've got a Seesar_music and Seesar_gear. And of course, you can just look at other stuff on this good old Seesar official YouTube channel. Tasty. Contact me if you want to make some noise. Thank you again. See you in the next one.